Hey Ann, hello, welcome. Thanks for joining. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hi, Bonnie. All right, let's go ahead and get started. It is 7 o'clock and it is time for another Facebook Live. As you know, this week I am going every night at 7 o'clock. And it is Peach Week, and I am very, very excited to share lots of my fun projects with you this week. So thank you for joining. And if you were here last night, we started off with this cute little birthday card and talked a little bit about the colors and the products that we have in this line. So let's go ahead, and if you have your annual catalog, hey Jean, thanks for joining. If you have your annual catalog, I will show you. If you are wondering how to make the card that I just showed you, that was from my Facebook Live last evening, and that is now on my blog and my YouTube channel. So you can find that information there. This is the amazing You're a Peach Sweet. Oh, Kathy, good for you. I have friends that live in Cape May. I hope you're having a great time down there. It was nice here today, a little less humid. Hi, Renee. Welcome, everyone. So, You're a Peach. This is on page 60 and 61 in the new annual catalog. And we won't be using all of the products tonight, but we will be using the bundle as well as the designer series paper. And tonight I'm excited about this one. I just love this cute little bag. This is made very easily, just really two pieces to it. You have your cardstock base, and then you have your gorgeous designer series paper to make the bag, which makes it so easy to make just a gorgeous, gorgeous bag. And this is one of my new favorite ribbons. This is pale papaya and white woven ribbon. So pretty, so yummy, so soft. So I'm going to use that to close up my bag. Oh, wow, 2 weeks. Lucky you. Hi, April. Hope you're doing well too. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the products we're going to be using. You probably know most of them by now, but let's just check. We're going to be using the Sweet as a Peach stamp set. Love this stamp set. So fun to work with. It is kind of a, it looks like a watercolor painting when you stamp your images. So you don't get a total solid image. But that is the intention of the stamps. It gives it more of a watercolor effect. But beautiful, beautiful stamps. And I will show you a little trick that I showed last evening during my Facebook Live to give your peach a little bit of a more realistic look. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Along with those, you have your coordinating dies. These cut out the branches, the flowers, and both sides of the peaches very, very nicely. I've been using these as well. And it has a real little skinny rectangle, and that is for the tiny sentiment that you can use. All right, and then lastly, but totally not least, you have the gorgeous paper, the You're a Peach paper, and this is amazing. We used my favorite last night to make the card. I love the balmy blue added to, I love the balmy blue added to the color palette of this suite. And I use this one's my favorite, I think. It's hard. I really like this one as well. So it's really hard to choose a favorite in this DSP pack, that's for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on the card. I mean, on the card, on the bag. All right, remember, as with last night, you can get a PDF to download on my blog that gives you all the directions and a picture of the project that we're going to be doing this evening. All right, so you can download that at www.thewexfordstamper.blogspot.com. So check out my blog and you can find all the information there. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm just noticing I'm going in and out a little bit. I hope we can hang in for this whole tutorial. All right, what we're going to need. This is a very, very quick bag to put together. First thing you're going to need to make the base is a piece of Calypso Coral cardstock, and this is cut at 3.5 by 3.5. And then it is scored at 1/2 on all 4 sides. And I don't know if you knew this, but you can do this using your scoring, your trimmer. Okay, remember you have 2 blades here on your trimmer. One is to cut and one is to score. All right, so after I cut my piece at 3.5 by 3.5, I can put my paper here off to the right-hand side at the 1/2, and then using my gray blade, which scores it, I can just turn it and score at 1/2 on all 4 sides. Very simple, so you don't have to grab your scoring board if you don't want to. Your trimmer is a great way to do some scoring as well. All right, can you see those score lines on there? Just a 1/2 inch from the outside all the way around. Kind of makes a little bit of a frame. All right, I'm going to go ahead and grab my bone folder and we're going to put together the base of our... Oh, I'm glad you love it, Renee. I knew you would. I just love mine. It's just a lot better than the ones you can get at those other places, which I won't mention, you know. All right, so now I have it folded all around on those score lines. And I'm going to take my scissors, and on the bottom here, I'm just going to snip up from the bottom vertically to the first score line. Then I'm going to turn it the other way and do the same thing again. So what we're making is kind of like a box lid. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Tombow, my liquid glue, and I'm just going to put a little bit on each of those flaps that we created with our snips. Okay, and then I'm just going to fold over and bend the flap back and put it behind the panel here and line up the fold line with the edge of that panel. Just hold that for a second or two and go around and do the same thing on all of these. Tombow is a real quick adhesive. You don't have to be holding it very long at all. And so what I'm creating is kind of like a box lid. And what we're going to do then is with the Designer Series paper, we're going to kind of adhere it around the edge that we've just created here to form the bag. And that's really the whole story. There's not a whole lot to this. Okay, so there we have our base for our box. And here, I'll show you it here on my finished product. Okay, there it is. So now we're going to go ahead and bring in our paper. And this paper here is cut at 6 by 11. Okay, 6 by 11. And then I have a strip of coordinating cardstock, designer series paper cut at 1.5 by 11. And I'm going to take my Tombow and I'm going to adhere it right to the top of the bag. Okay, so if your paper has an orientation, make sure you are putting it on the top edge of the bag. Let me grab my Tombow again. Then I'm going to slide it right up here on the top so that the top edges are right together. And since it's the same width, it's going to cover just a little bit of the top, but I just love the coordination of this paper. So, so pretty. Love it. All right, so there is my bag ready to go. Now, I'm going to turn it over on the back side, and we're going to grab the tear-in tape. Okay, this is great double-sided tape that sticks like crazy, and it's perfect for 3D projects. So I'm going to go ahead and take my tear-in tape, and I'm going to put it along the bottom of my bag on the back side. Okay, remember this is our front, so I'm going to put it along the bottom of the back side. And then I'm going to put it along just one of the sides of the bag. All right, so I'm going to put it along the bottom here and the side here. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off my tear-in tape, and I don't have my pick tool within arm's reach, or I certainly would have used that. And then I know, they just always knock it out of the park. The coordination is so beautiful with this paper. And the balmy blue is, I think, the added color that I just really, really love this time around. All right, so now I've got my adhesive on this side and along the bottom. I'm going to grab my little box bottom, I guess we would call it that. I'm going to turn it upside down. All right, and I'm going to try to find approximately the center at the bottom. You can measure if you want, but I want to lay this side of the box down so that the bottom fold is right along the bottom edge. Okay, so let me see how I do with this without you seeing the back of my head. There we go. All right. Okay. So I have it stuck down so that the one side of the box is adhered to the designer series paper, okay, approximately at the middle. You don't have to be very, very particular about that. All right, then you're going to pick up your box, and you want to choose the side that doesn't have the tear-in tape along the edge, and you want to move that one around first. So you're going to take it around the side of your box, and you want it to line up with the bottom of the box, just like it did here. So you want the edge of your designer series paper right along the edge of your base or your box bottom. And notice when I go around the corner, I'm going to pinch it a little bit to give it a nice look like that. All right, now I'm going to do final one. That goes around here, and then that will be all for the first side. And see, I'm going to pinch it right here to make sure it's adhering, and then just press all the way around. Okay, so I've got the first one done. Now I'm going to go back. This is the side that has the tear-in tape along here. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold it around. Make sure you do your best to try to get it that it is right along the edge of your box. Make sure that you pinch it. And now I'm bringing it around the back. Okay, I'm going to pinch it again. Let's turn it this way with my hand. And bring it across the bottom like that. All right, now for the top, you're going to want to squeeze it down a little bit so that the top and the top edge of both pieces or both ends lines up like that. And then you're going to squeeze down. So you might have to lay it down and put a little pressure on it so that you can get that to line up perfectly. Okay, and that's it. So then you're just going to carefully squeeze. This guy got bent in here. There we go. Just carefully squeeze the top, and you've got the beginnings of your bag. See how easy that is? Now I'm going to grab my 1-inch circle punch, and I'm going to go ahead and come in here on the front, and I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm going to punch a circle. I'm going to move it over a little bit. Let's see. That looks better. Okay, I squeeze, get that one out. Then I'm going to bend it back. And I'm going to go back in so that I can punch out the second. Okay, and the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to get a pencil rather than trying to go through 2 layers, actually 4 layers. I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to draw a circle there. Okay, so then when I open up my bag, you can see, I think, in there, right where I drew my little circle. Okay, and then I'm just going to come in here like this and punch. That's much easier than trying to punch through 4 layers. Okay, so then I want to make sure I have this all lined up. Give it a squeeze. Oh, wait. This is my poor old 1-inch circle punch. It's seen better days, but I'm keeping it because they don't make them anymore. So he's got to work a few more times. There we go. Okay, he's tired. Come on, you. You could also use just a paper punch. Here we go. And make a smaller circle. Well, this is just not working well. All right, let's go ahead and take scissors. I'm just going to cut a little bit with the scissors here through the middle. Now we'll try again. Okay, let's see. I'm going to take that out again, bring it over here, and slide it over. Okay. I think this 1-inch circle punch has seen better days, and he is not cooperating. So I'm going to grab my small scissors and cut out the other circle. Yes, I will measure it for you in a minute, Jean. I'm having some circle punch challenges today. But it wouldn't be a crafty day if something didn't happen. But we are very resilient and flexible, and we figure it out. All right. So there we go. We did it. We did it. All right. Let's go ahead and measure this for Jean. That might be a good thought. And also, it's kind of broken here, like it lost the little screw. It's a mess, but I just wish they had still offered them because I just don't want to give it up. All right, let's see. I'm going to grab my ruler here for you, Jean. Okay. It is 6 inches tall. Okay. And at its widest here with it smushed down, it's about 4 3/4 inches. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab this gorgeous, gorgeous ribbon. which is just about gone. I just love this. I've been using it like crazy. It is the Pale Papaya and White woven ribbon. Perfect, goes perfectly with this sweet. Okay, nice and thick, but nice and soft. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're gonna put it through the 2 circles we punched. That's why if you wanted to, you could just use a paper punch if you aren't particular about having the big circle. Either way, it'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to tie a bow through my hole there. This is very, very nice, flexible, easy to work with ribbon, and it's so pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and I like the long tails on it. So there we have it. There is the ribbon. Let's do a little snip here on the ends. Okay, so there is how easy it is to make the bags. You can make this with all of your designer series paper, and what I love about it is you can make 2 of these out of one 12 by 12 piece. All right, let's go ahead and make our little embellishment for the front. Okay, to do that, we're going to use this little scalloped rectangle from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. Love these. These are still available. Thanks, Renee. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do a little bit of stamping. Okay, the thanks for being as, and then the sweet as a peach underneath. Okay, so to do that, we're going to need 2 colors. We're going to use our Calypso Coral. These are the colors that go so beautifully with this sweet, and then the Pear Pizzazz for the larger sentiment. So we're going to go ahead and use the thanks for being as, and that one we're going to stamp up toward the top of our rectangle. There we go. Thanks for being as. And then we have our sweet as a peach, and that's going to go directly under it. We don't want to go too far down because we've got to fit our peach on the bottom of the tag. And there it is, sweet as a peach. I'm going to leave these open right here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Pale Papaya, and I'm going to show you how. Renee, oh man, that's not gonna, that's like the best joke ever. Not gonna live that one down, but you really could. You could probably put 2 pairs of socks in this one, Renee. All right, let's grab a piece of basic white cardstock, just a scrap, and I'm gonna go ahead and do my stamping on my little pierce mat, just because it is a photopolymer stamp and you get a little better of an image that way. All right, let's go ahead and do the peach first. Okay, so you have this lovely peach image that's photopolymer, and I'm going to go ahead and ink it up with the beautiful Pale Papaya. Okay, now before we stamp it, I'm going to grab my little sponge dauber. These are available in the catalog. I'm going to just get a little bit of the Calypso Coral onto my sponge dauber, and I'm going to gently dab just around the right hand edge of my peach. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to stamp that down. Okay, and you can see there how that edge makes the peach look a little more three-dimensional, gives it a little bit of color. Let's try it again. So you can see how that works. Again, Pale Papaya first. Then I'm going to put a little bit of the Calypso Coral along the right-hand side as I'm stamping. And then, now as I said before, this is more of a watercolor looking image. So you're going to have some white space. There's nothing wrong with the stamp there. That's true. Dory would definitely want chocolate, not socks. Okay, I don't know. It's a toss-up for me. I would take either. All right, so there is our cute little peaches. So fun to make. And then, very quickly, the little leaves and stem. I'm just going to use the Pear Pizzazz as it is. And again, you're going to notice that it is not totally filled in, but that's okay. It is a watercolor kind of a look. Okay, so that's all the stamping. We're done with that. Then what I have to do is take my peaches and my stem, and I'm going to go ahead and run those through my cut and emboss machine, and I get something that looks like this. There's my peach. There is my stem. So cute. Love having those coordinating dies that cut them out so nicely. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up here. We only have a couple more things to do. Let's grab back our label here. I'm going to take my peach, grab my dimensionals, and remember, you want to use every bit of these. Don't throw these edges away. They are quite valuable. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 of those on the back of my peach, and then that is going to go right here on the center bottom of my label. Okay. And last, we're going to go ahead and put this little stem, and that's going to require a little smaller piece. So I'm going to cut this little one here off the end. I'm going to put the dimensional up towards the top. Then I'm going to slide the stem behind the peach. And there you have it. Isn't that cute? I love it. All right, last thing, let's bring in our bag. And let's use a few more dimensionals. Let's use up the rest of them on here. And going to put dimensionals on all 4 corners of this scalloped rectangle. Going to grab my bag, and I'm going to put it right here on the center. And there it is. That's it. Hey, Rhonda, thanks for joining. So there you have it. There are the 2 bags. Very, very simple. You could do it with any of the beautiful designs of this paper. If you give it a try, please post on the VIP page. I'd love to see what colors you use and what ribbon. But it is a very, very easy, quick and easy gift bag that you can make for any occasion. So that is day 2 for my Peach Week. I hope you enjoyed that. Please remember that there will be, before the end of the evening, there will be a blog post with a video and a downloadable PDF for I call it my Peachy gift bag. So go ahead and give it a try and post on my VIP page. I'd love to see what you guys come up with. Oh, thank you, Rise. Take care, and remember, come back tomorrow. I have another great peach project tomorrow. So take care and have a great evening and keep on stamping. Take care. Bye-bye.